Aloha and welcome, beautiful souls. It's your girl, the T with no resource untapped, and I'm so glad that you made the choice to be with us here tonight for Getting Unstuck. Because that decision alone tells us one thing, something very powerful about you. You're ready for a change. So, for clarity or for just more. But before we deep dive in it, let me introduce you to the incredible woman guiding us through this journey, London Reed. London is a transformational teacher, speaker, and facilitator of the Clarity Catalyst course. It's a program originally developed by Stanford University back in 1979. The course was impacted or has impacted thousands of lives by teaching people how to cultivate creativity, authenticity, and self expression so they can live in alignment with their true selves. And to share a little bit more about me, I'm the T, and I partner with women and organizations who are ready to embrace clarity, balance, and purpose in their lives. I've walked through seasons of transition, overwhelmed, and even health challenges, and I know firsthand the power of clarity and community in shifting everything. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing this space with London and with you tonight. So let's breathe together. Let's lean in and let's prepare to get unstuck. Everybody, welcome in London.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, T, for that warm welcome. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. All right, so before we get started, I just have a question for all of you. How many of you are ready to break free from feeling stuck and finally create the life that you have always dreamed of? And how many of you want to do it while feeling empowered, supported, and fulfilled? Welcome to the Getting Unstuck workshop, a transformational experience designed to help you uncover what's been holding you back and how you can take back your power. My name is London Reed. Again, I am a transformational coach and certified instructor of the Clarity Catalyst program, a powerful course originally taught at Stanford University. It's rooted in mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and creativity. This work has helped thousands of people get unstuck, gain clarity, and transform their lives. And today I am here to share some of those tools with you. So, you might have shown up today because you feel stuck in a career or life that no longer lights you up. You're constantly pouring into others and leaving yourself last. You're overwhelmed, burned out, and craving clarity. Or maybe, just maybe, fear and self doubt are keeping you from making that next move. If any of this resonates with you, I want you to know that you're not alone. I've been there too. And for years, I chased success by everyone else's standards. And I'm talking about from degrees, jobs, roles that I thought I should have. And on the outside, I was providing for my family, but on the inside, honestly, I was completely depleted. My health declined. I felt invisible. I felt disconnected from who I really was. And everything began to shift when I took a chance on this program that I almost ignored. And it's called the Clarity Catalyst. And so week by week, I reconnected with myself. I uncovered who I truly was, what I was called to do, and most importantly, how to trust myself again. Today, I'm living in alignment with my purpose, and I'm here to guide you into your own breakthrough. So, if you're ready to get unstuck, reclaim your power, and step into the life that you know you are meant to live, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's go ahead and talk about some ground rules. Just give yourself permission to show up fully so that you can have it all. That's it. So take a moment, put your phones on D&D or silence your social medias and emails, and honestly, really just lean in with an open mind and an open heart. Again, give yourself permission to fully show up because when you commit to playing it all out, that's when the real transformation happens. So I just want to kick it off really quick with a quote that resonates really deeply with me from Sarah Jake Roberts, who said, "You can either repeat the same cycle or evolve. The choice is yours." Every moment gives us a choice. Will we stay stuck replaying old patterns or will we rise up and create something new? It's all about how we choose to see the situation in front of us. So, to illustrate this, here's one of my favorite stories. There are two neighbors, right? And they walk outside, they notice a big old pile of poop on the sidewalk. One of them, they're just annoyed. They're like, "Oh my gosh." Why would someone leave this here? And the other one, they smile and they're like, hey, free fertilizer for my garden. Same situation, completely different perspective. And that's the power of mindset. When we shift how we see things, we change how we experience them. So, for the rest of our time together, let's commit to seeing opportunities where we once saw obstacles and being the creator of our reality. Deal? All right. So, what will we learn today? We are going to get clear about who you are and what you want so you can live the life filled with more purpose. You're going to silence the inner critic so that you can fearlessly go after your dreams. You're going to shift your perspective from feeling like a victim of your circumstances and step into becoming the creator of your reality and discover what is blocking you in reaching your highest potential in both your personal and professional life. The tools I'm sharing today are part of the Clarity Catalyst course. It was originally designed to help business students uncover their purpose and creativity through mindfulness and emotional intelligence. Now, in 2002, they took it out of the classroom, and around the time of 9/11, they got a grant to give it to 400 women who lost their husbands in that tragedy. And of course, these women, they had their grief counseling, but this was a way for them to discover what the next chapter of their lives was going to be. And it worked. They became artists, they became authors, they became entrepreneurs. It was really successful. And then they brought the coaching course out and began to give it to regular people like us. So over the last 40 plus years, this course has transformed the lives of thousands. I'm talking from 9/11 widows to everyday people just seeking clarity and direction. And today, I am thrilled to share some of its most impactful tools with you. And when we're done, I'll show you how we can take this work further and go deeper into your transformation. So that way you can continue this journey and get even more powerful results. So today's promise, you will receive powerful tools and practical techniques that you can start implementing immediately. So why do we get stuck? We're unclear about what we want out of life. We feel trapped in a job that doesn't excite us. We feel frustrated because we can't find love. We haven't found our purpose. We're unable to manage our time. We procrastinate and don't reach our goals, or we don't feel good enough or worthy for success. But the data shows that we aren't alone. So let's look here. Lack of engagement at work, right? Only 21% of employees globally report being engaged in their jobs. Many feel disconnected, uninspired, or misaligned with their work. Then we have widespread procrastination. So 20% of adults identify as chronic procrastinators, but up to 95% of students report regular struggles with procrastination. An estimated 85% of people experience low self-esteem at some point in their lives, which often affects their choices, their relationships, and their confidence. So I am curious to know now, what are some of the reasons that you feel stuck? Feel free to share, drop it in the chat, and I put some options up here to help you think. Now think about it. Could it be because you're not living your life's purpose? Maybe you're not clear about your purpose. Maybe there's some fear of failure or fear of success, not being happy in a relationship, looking for love. What are some of the reasons that you feel stuck? So let me share with you now how I got unstuck, because it wasn't by luck, it wasn't by timing or some magical overnight shift. It's what I call the ABC method, right? And it's action plus belief plus clarity equals success. It equals success and transformation. It's simple, but not always easy. So I didn't have a perfect roadmap. I had to learn to trust myself again. I had to unlearn the habits that kept me playing small. I had to relearn how to be in alignment with who I was and what I was called to do. There's nothing extraordinary about me, except I just didn't give up. And I'm me too, right? I committed to doing the inner work. I showed up even when it was hard. And that's the key part right there. You have to show up even when it's hard. And then I use the tools that you're about to learn in this course, tools that change literally everything for me. So now today I run my business full time and I get to impact lives doing something that I really love. I'm present with my children. And more importantly, I really enjoy looking at the woman looking back at me in the mirror. I love who I see. I love who I'm becoming. I feel healthy. I feel happier and finally walking in my purpose. So now I get to guide you through that same transformation. So let's go ahead and get into these alphabets. We're going to start with C, which is cultivating clarity, right? Returning to your inner knowing. So I love the Wheel of Life exercise because I feel like it just brings everything into focus for you. It's one of the first things that I do with my clients during the 8-week journey together. And again, at the end, to just kind of see the tangible growth that's taking place. It's not just that visual. It's literally a mirror helping you take stock of your life and gently illuminating what's working and then what's not. And then it's a powerful tool that you can revisit every few months. So think of it like a seasonal check-in, a way to realign your life, while you're actively choosing to co-create it. Clarity comes when we pause just long enough to look, to observe, to be a witness. So now let's talk about the foundational tools for clarity. We have mindfulness, meditation, and journaling. So when your mind is running and racing through the past regrets or the future worries, it's literally impossible to hear the truth. And that's where these three practices here will come in, because they're not just habits, they're daily acts of devotion to yourself and to your growth. So let's first talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is the power of presence. It's your anchor to your now, the only place where peace lives. So when we're grounded, we stop sending out the low frequency signals like fear, shame, or anxiety, because that only attracts more of the same thing anyway. Now, one of my favorite tools is the 5 senses check-in. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you touch? What do you taste? So engaging your senses brings you out of your head and back into your body where the wisdom lives. And scientifically, they show that you cannot focus on what you're thinking and what you're sensing, meaning the sight, the sound, taste, and touch all simultaneously. So if you want to turn off the obsessive thinking and get grounded in the moment, you turn on your senses. So let's go ahead and try this one tool on. I want you to begin first by looking around in the room that you're in. I want you to notice the colors and the textures, the objects. And when your mind starts to wander, I want you to move your eyes to a different object and just simply be here. Now, next, I want you to close your eyes, deeply breathe in, invoking the sense of smell. What are the smells coming from inside of the room? And next is sound. First, listen with your left ear, and then listen with your right ear. What are the sounds coming from outside the room you're in? And still with your eyes closed, I want you to invoke the sense of taste. Gently run your tongue along your teeth and swallow. And finally, touch. Notice the way that the air feels on your face, the way your clothing feels on your body. Now notice the way the air feels on your face. How on the inhale, it's cool. On the exhale, it's warm. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So, did you worry about the future or regret about the past? I'm going to go ahead and answer for you because I know you didn't. It's impossible. So now let's talk about meditation. Meditation is quieting the noise, Now, imagine your mind like a glass of water filled with sand, right? So, meditation lets that sand settle so the water becomes clear. You don't need hours, you don't need days, you just need 10 minutes a day where you can begin to declutter your mind, lower your stress, and sharpen your inner compass. You're not just trying to stop thinking, you're learning how to observe without attachment. That's where the insight lives. And then we have journaling. I love journaling. Journaling is an incredible tool because it'll elicit a lot of clarity. So it's like making the unconscious conscious because your pen is your portal. When you put your thoughts on paper, what felt tangled in your mind becomes untangled. We use portal right and access that in between space. So it's like literally where your soul meets yourself, right? But even with just 5 minutes of free writing a day, it can offer like a lot of insight. You'll be surprised at what you discover when you allow your intuition to guide the pen. Your inner compass is waiting. We're all seeking answers. Is this the right relationship for me? What's my purpose? What's my next step? But here's what I want you to remember. You already know. Yak, you already know. You just need space to hear the whisper of your truth. And science backs this up. According to neuroscience and quantum physics, intuition is real, right? It's a tangible muscle and it's a trainable muscle. So if you haven't been trusting yourself lately, it's okay. You just need a little bit of movement. And these tools is going to help you rebuild it. So we are going to do an exercise now. And this is where we are going to revisit the wheel of life and bring it full circle. So you should have received the wheel of life in your emails, but we are going to drop you the link in the chat for anybody who may not have it. And if you don't have it, if you're not able to print it out, that's okay too, because all you have to do is draw your circle, break up your pie, and then write down your categories, right? So let me add Miss T to the stage. She has done the honors of drawing her circle with her pie and her categories. Thank you. And then we're going to drop the categories down for you below, but it's very simple. Spirituality, recreation, romance, health, living spaces, family, finances. Those are your categories, right? So I'm going to bring me back up to the screen. Thank you. Okay. So what we're going to do now, after you've drawn your circle, right, and you've written out your categories, we're going to take a couple of deep breaths, and we are going to rate each area in your life from 0 to 10. So how fulfilled are you in your health? How fulfilled are you in your finances, in your relationships, etc.? And then once you're done, I want you to connect the circle and see what type of will you have. And if there are any areas that are a little flat. So I just did an example here on myself so you can see. Like, and obviously if this was a wheel on a tire, I wouldn't be able to get really too far. I mean, I probably wouldn't even get down the street. Right? So that part of my tire needs a little love. It needs a little attention. This is about noticing with love and curiosity, and then choosing to move forward with intention. Clarity isn't something that we find, it's something we create moment by moment, choice by choice. So you go ahead and finish up your wheel of life and connect your dots and see what areas need a little bit more attention for you. Now let's go ahead to B, which is shifting beliefs. So we are going to meet your little itty bitty shitty committee. We're going to draw it. We're going to name it. And then we're going to name 3 things that it says. So when we were little, we walked boldly into life, right? We painted like we were Picasso. We sang like we were superstars. And we wore these polka dotted pants like they were couture. We believed we were magical. We really did. But the truth is we were. But somewhere along the way, someone said, you're not an artist. Stop singing. You're off key. Those pants are weird. Why can't you wear something normal? Right? And just like that, A seed of doubt was planted, and a little gremlin appeared, that voice of insecurity. And every time we were criticized or ignored or misunderstood, the gremlin just grew stronger. And eventually it multiplied until it became what I lovingly call the itty bitty shitty committee. The itty bitty shitty committee is the inner dialogue. It's the committee of voices that whispers, "You're not good enough. You're too much, or you're not enough, or you're too old, or too late, or unqualified. You're not creative. You're not ready." It's that voice. It will literally become the soundtrack of our lives, playing quietly in the background on repeat. And if we never pause to challenge it, it becomes our truth. It becomes our story. But the thing is, and again, you're going to hear me mention quantum physics a lot, because your thoughts, your beliefs, and emotions, they all shape your reality. They write the script of your life. So if you're not in love with the movie that you're currently starring in, you have permission to rewrite that script. But you have to first meet the cast of your story, the cast of your characters, right? So the first step in a long process of reprogramming negative beliefs is to first meet the itty bitty shitty committee. So what we're going to do is we're going to have some fun, and we're going to make this personal. Another exercise. So you can use, if you drew out your circle, use the back of your sheet or get you a clear sheet of paper. And we're going to draw a little stick figure. This is going to be our inner gremlin. And then you can add some features, maybe some horns, a growling mouth, crazy hair, sharp teeth. Have fun with it. I drew my little gremlin. This is what my little gremlin looks like. I'm not an artist like that, but I was very creative. Mine has some, like, a little growling mouth and horns. Right? And then you're going to give it a name. So maybe it's Negative Nancy, maybe it's Mr. No-No, maybe it's Dalfuzana, whatever feels right for you. And then what I did is don't follow my bubbles. Make your bubbles a little bigger so you can write something in it. But draw your 3 talk bubbles coming from the mouth. And after you draw your talk bubbles, what's the broken record on loop for you? What is it saying? You're lazy? You're not smart enough? You always mess things up? You're too old to start over? You don't deserve love? I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this. And I want you to really take time to get honest, because once we name the voice, it loses power. Okay? So you go ahead. I'm going to just set the timer for 2 minutes. And you go. All right. You should be finishing up right about now. All right. So by now, you should have your little gremlin, your 3 talk bubbles. You should have been creative with it, right? Creative with it. What does it look like? What is it saying? And I'm going to tell you why this matters. It matters because this little gremlin is not you, right? You weren't born with this voice in your head. You were born knowing that you were worthy, that you were talented and loved. And that's why it's so important to name it something other than your own name. So that way, when you hear the critter brain going again, you can say, oh no, that's just Mr. No No. That's not me anymore. Right? So let's go deeper. Once we recognize the voice, we get curious about where it came from, because more so than not, the beliefs aren't even ours. They were downloaded into us when we were too young to know any better. So ask yourself, where did this belief begin? Was it something that somebody said or something I interpreted from an experience? So I'm going to give you an example. Now, imagine a 5-year-old whose dad suddenly leaves home and nobody says you're unlovable, right? But that child might feel abandoned and think like, I must not be enough. I must have done something wrong. Love leaves because my dad did. Now that child grows up, and at 45, he or she is still making decisions from the perspective of that 5-year-old wound. And that's how interpretation becomes identity. But two kids could have the same experience, the same event, and come out with two totally different stories. We can't operate off of our 5-year-old belief systems or the belief system that other people put on us. So a lot of the work is about first acknowledging the origin of that belief system, then determining that event that occurred and the interpretation that we made about it, so that we can get to the work on reprogramming that interpretation to a better perspective, a point of view that's going to serve us and move us forward and empower us. So this week, I want you to reflect on the voice of your inner gremlin. Explore the origin of those beliefs. Get curious, not judgmental, because healing begins with awareness. And the moment that you recognize these beliefs are not who you are, you begin to rise. So let's go ahead and continue doing this work together. We are now taking action by making a declaration. A. So let's think about the most famous declaration in history. And I can't help but ask, do we know what that is? What is the most famous declaration in history? Yep, the Declaration of Independence, absolutely. Because our forefathers declared we are free. It actually took 6 years for the Declaration to come to fruition. And at the time, there was no evidence that it was even possible. Others tried to overthrow the British rule, but they failed. And so they declared it anyway. They stood on their word. Guys, they stood on business. And it became so because they said so. Right? That's the power of declaration. So I want you to think about something that you really, really, really want to create in your life. So mine, on August 8th, 2021, I made a powerful declaration. I feel empowered that I am now a business owner. And at the time, I had no idea how I was going to take that leap of faith. I definitely wasn't leaving my 9 to 5 to do it. Like, I just couldn't see that, right? The thought was just in my head. But it was so because I said it was so. I declared it into being. And that's the magic. You don't need evidence from your past. You don't need it to have already happened. You simply state it as it already has happened. And that's what creates the momentum. So here's what I want you to do. Going back to your wheel of life, I want you to look at the areas that are 7 and below. That's where I would like for you to make your declarations. Then on a 3x5 card, something very simple, just on a 3x5 card, I want you to write out your declarations. That's part of the daily practice, right? That's part of the daily practice that we do in that course as well. So we'll journal for 5 minutes. We'll meditate for 10 minutes. And then we'll read our 6 declarations out loud as if it's already happened. So it's simple. And that's the formula right here. I feel blank, which is the emotion, that I am now blank, which is your breakthrough goal. So for example, I feel grateful that I'm now in a healthy, conscious relationship. I feel proud that I am now a published author. I feel strong that I am now in my skinny jeans. I feel secure that I'm now financially free. So once you've declared it, you close your eyes and you play a mind movie of it happening. You've got the book in your hand, you have the partner by your side, you've got the money in your bank, the body is strong in tea, right? And then you ask yourself, how does that make me feel? Do I feel joyful? Do I feel grateful, ecstatic, at peace? How do I feel? Use words that feel natural to you. Because when you are literally writing the lines of your life, these are the lines that your future self will one day speak. So let's try it now. I want you to write out one declaration for yourself right now, just one. And remember the formula. I feel blank that I am now blank. I feel emotion that I am now goal. Take a moment, tune into your heart, and write your declarations. So now I want you to close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to see yourself living it. Imagine it's already happened. And then let that feeling land in your body. Because that energy is what starts the momentum. And here's your soul work. I want you to create 5 more declarations using your will of life. And by the end, you'll have a total of 6. Okay. And each day you're going to journal, you're going to meditate, and you're going to read them out loud. And that's how you rewire your mind and step into the life that you're declaring. Now, let's be real. Whenever you read these little declarations, that's where the critic brain is going to come up again, the itty bitty shitty committee, right? So mine was Let's Go Left Linda. Okay, she's 16. She's from Harlem. She knows everything, but she lets her trauma run the show. So every time I read my declaration, I am a transformational coach, helping women in a way that aligns with my purpose. Here comes Linda. She's going to chime in, London. You're never going to make it. Nobody's going to take you seriously, girl. Who do you think you are? You can't run this business. You can't coach anybody. But I don't let her win. So instead of me letting her win, I built a louder voice of truth. So that's the self-mastery work that we're doing. So I learned to say, girl, bye, Linda. Not now, Linda. I only need one. I have a divine appointment with my purpose, and I'm walking toward it. And guess what? That declaration came true, right? So today I am a transformational coach, serving women in alignment with my purpose, exactly as I declared. So that's what I want you to work on. And so the last piece is having measurable results action plan. So this is the how, the what, the and by when. Get in action, stop waiting. Right? So for example, my declaration was to become a successful transformational coach. The what, I needed my own business so that I could coach in a way that was in alignment with me. And then we have the how. I work evenings and weekends, dedicating that time to building my business and earning those certifications. My by when was by 2024. And that was both hit with will and grace, right? So will is the action, it's the tenacity, the perseverance, the choice to get up every day and give yourself to what you're committed to creating. And then we have grace. Grace is what happens after you've given your all and you allow the universe to conspire with you, placing you in the right place at the right time. So we have will, which is the art of making it happen, and grace, which is the art of allowing it to happen. And you'll know that you're in too much will when you're forcing, you're striving, you're pushing so much that your body aches at night. And you're in too much grace when you're laying in bed, staring at the vision board, eating your bonbons and waiting for the love of your life or $1 million to just show up at your door like it did in the movie The Secret. That's just not how it works. We need both will and grace to make our declarations come true. And the thing is, when you finally take action, of course, fear is going to come up, and it often disguises itself as excuses. So right before you go ahead and launch that website, or maybe before you write that book or you make that phone call, here comes the critic brain, that itty bitty shitty committee. It shows up whispering, don't do it. It's not perfect. Right? You need permission. Wait until they're changed. Wait until they change. The right person is going to come along. Not right now. You got to wait until the kids are grown, or it's too risky. I'm going to tell y'all something. Life is ghetto, so it doesn't even come with a clear set of instructions. You just got to go with the flow. Okay, that's it. Just be in the flow. They're all just excuses. Stop waiting for perfection or permission or someone to change or the absence of risk. I've never ran a business in my life. I've never been a coach. I only helped my friends and I hope they would listen, right? I've never taught a course before. I remember though, during the pandemic, I was a first grade teacher, a fourth grade teacher, and what grade was my oldest son? A sixth grade teacher. I survived. I did good. So I figured I'd be okay, right? And what I did was I went ahead and I asked for guidance. I reached out to the experts and I kept it moving. Because the truth is, you'll always figure it out. Remember, Yak, you already know. There will always be some risk if it's worth it. You don't need permission. It will never be perfect. You just have to show up. So check in with yourself. Is this really the truth or is it an excuse? Call yourself out if need be. So the last tool that I want to share with you today is one of my favorite meditations from the 8-week Stanford course. It's called the Future Self Meditation. And it gives you the opportunity to go on a journey and meet your future self. So let's talk about quantum physics again, right? We have quantum physics and it says the past, the present, and the future are all happening simultaneously. It's one big now. So right now, you're watching this webinar, and at the very same time, you're 20 years older, wiser, stronger, having already been there and done that, right? And who better to go to for wisdom and advice than that version of you? Some of us are poll takers. I know I used to be, right? So we'll ask our mothers, we'll ask our partners, our best friends, everybody, what do you think I should do? Should I stay? Should I go? Should I take a leap? What should I do? And after we have all of these different answers, we still don't do anything. We do nothing. So instead, what if you could go to your higher source, your higher self? So here is what I want you to do right now. I want you to think of a question that you'd love to ask your future self. It could be general, like, what's the next best step? Or it could be very specific, like, is this the right relationship for me? Should I leave this job? Should I move to California or New York? Again, general or specific. The point is, this is between you and you, the sacred meeting with the most radiant, powerful, and wise version of yourself 20 years into the future. And before we begin the meditation, I want you to hold that question in your mind's eye. Breathe it in. And when you're ready, close your eyes and I'm going to start the music. Imagine that you're walking along a beautiful riverbank and it's the perfect day. The birds are singing. You can feel the warmth of the sun on your face and you feel safe and all is well. As you walk along, suddenly you see a boat with a friendly captain driving. This captain pulls the boat along shore and helps you in. You begin to sail down a river, but you notice this is a different kind of river. This is the river of time. 5 years passed. 10 years passed. 15 years passed. 20 years passed. The friendly captain pulls the boat alongside the riverbank and helps you out. And he points the way to where you live 20 years from now. Where are you? Is it a city street, a country road, the mountains, the beach, another country? This is yours. Paint it in. You see the house, knock on the door, and your future self answers. Look into their eyes. Those are your eyes. Look at their smile. Notice what they're wearing, their jewelry, their clothing, their shoes. Take them in. Your future self brings you into one of the rooms in the home. You have created all of this. Look at the colors, the textures, the furniture, the fabrics. Your future self asks you to sit down and they leave the room. And when they come back, they're carrying a beautifully wrapped gift. Open it up. What have they given you today? Ask them if there's any significance to this gift and allow them to whisper the answer into your ear. Now your future self looks you deeply in the eyes and says to you, what do you want to know? Ask them any question that's in your heart, or ask them for wisdom or insight about your next steps on this journey. Allow them to answer by talking or showing you symbols or photographs or even a running film. Ask them before you leave, is there one more thing they need to tell you? Something important that you need to know? It's time to go. Your future self walks you to the door, and before you leave, ask them, is there a name that I can call you by when I come to visit? A name other than my own name. Let them whisper this into your ear. Give them a great big hug and tell them that you will return. They thank you and they say come back anytime when you need questions answered, when you need guidance, that they will be your ally and they are here to help you. Now make your way back down to the boat where the friendly captain is waiting and board the boat and begin to sail. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, back to now. And when you're ready, open your eyes and journal everything you heard and saw. So when I first met my future self, she told me that her name was unique. And she handed me a gift. It was a microphone. And I asked her, "What is this for?" And she said, "So you can share your story with others." And I looked at her like she was crazy. Why would I even do that? And she looked at me straight in the eyes and said, "Because your story is healing, it's powerful, and it's going to help so many people." And the relationship that I've built with my future self is still one of the most powerful relationships that I have in my life. You know, sometimes she gives me a thumbs up, sometimes she gives me a thumbs down, sometimes she's just like, "No, not yet." But every time I walk away with clarity, with courage, and a reminder that the answer I need, the answers I have that I'm seeking, they're already inside of me. They're here. So I just want to thank you guys for joining us today at the Getting Unstuck Challenge. I am so excited again. I hope that you truly enjoyed today's message. I'm going to bring T back up here for you guys. Give me 1 second. Hello.
Wow. Wow, Coach. That was phenomenal. I don't know about you guys, but what a journey. And let's just take a moment to honor what we did together tonight. So we checked in and did the wheel of life and saw where we were thriving and where we were stuck. We got quiet and met that inner gremlin, the itty bitty shitty committee that had been holding us back. And we told it, "Not today, Satan." We wrote out our declarations and who we were choosing to become, and even fast forwarded to meet our future selves, the version of us already living in alignment, clarity, and freedom. And the truth, this is just a taste. This is just a taste of the clarity catalyst. Only a little bit. So the course itself is where the real transformation happens. Over 8 weeks, you get all of the tools that you need, the structure, the accountability, and actually be able to live in the vision that you started to create tonight. The next cohort is October 1st and 6th. They both are at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and you get to choose the group that fits your schedule best in the VIP rate. Somebody say VIP rate. All right. That VIP rate is 30% off of the enrollment. That's $300 in savings. Plus, you'll get a free coaching session if you join by the end of this week. Beyond the discounts, though, this is your invitation to commit to yourselves, to walk in clarity, ignite your purpose, and connect with a powerful community of women who are doing the same thing. You'll get an email in the next few hours detailing and outlining everything that we discussed today. And you could message us directly to secure your spot. If you are ready right now, the VIP code for this evening's promo is VIP 30. VIP 30. Okay. And my one and only ask of you is, don't let this energy fail tonight. Take action today. You deserve this next chapter, and we can't wait to see you in October. See you soon.